Welcome to Nostalgia Chats podcast, where we take you to the past and present time. With the OG crew, we are your talk hosts, Danny,
Harry,
Carmelo,
Chad.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Nostalgia Chats podcast. Today, we're taking it all the way back to the PS1 era. The games, the memories, and the console that changed everything, from late night gaming sessions to the classics we couldn't put down. We're reliving what made the PlayStation 1 so legendary. So sit back, relax, and let's get nostalgic. And real quick, hit that sub button. About 80% of the viewers and listeners are not subbed, and it really helps us a lot. Don't forget to smash the like button.
Yeah, because we don't do this for free.
And also, too, really quickly, I want to add before we even start, in Daddy's intro, Daddy said, we taking it all the way back. That sounds kind of crazy, man. I was like, Jesus, Daddy. I'm not taking nothing back. Yeah, I'm not taking nothing. So let's be clear about that.
So before we get into anything, what made you get the PS1? What made you go out and buy it? Because at that time, because at that time, it's not like you see it on TV, you read it on books. You had to go really buy the magazine and see anything that was coming out and see what games was really out for it, or if the games you liked was for it, or if you can even afford to get it.
Yeah, but I remember when the PS1 came out, there wasn't so you had your Sega and you had your Super Nintendo. It was the first one to like kind of pop it off. I mean, I know you had like 3DO and you had Jaguar and you had all these other ones, but I remember those being like in the higher price range, and then PS1 was right there, and then it also it was popular. I remember what I remember most about PS1 when I first got it was the demo. I can't remember all the games on it, and I was trying to look it up and I can't find it because apparently they had like a whole bunch of volumes to the demo disc that came with your PlayStation. I know mine had Spyro. It had
Is that your favorite
the Rapper. I can't.
Yeah,
It had Oddjob in it.
Oh, I remember Oddjob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the PlayStation Underground disc that came with the demos.
No, and he's talking about the ones that came with the system. PlayStation Underground is the one they subscribe. They get in
Well,
the
you
mail.
remember when you first got your PlayStation, it came with a demo.
Odyssey.
Yeah.
That demo had to hold me. Yeah, that demo had to hold me down for like a month because I spent all my money on the system. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, what's crazy is Chad got his PS1 when I already had PS2.
Oh,
He bought that shit on clearance. See,
the episode just started. Y'all see, the episode just started.
Messing with him. I just messing with him.
See,
Like Carmelo, you were saying?
Yo, bro, I remember Funkoland had just, and then there was Funkoland that had just opened. Because remember, I think we just had what you call that? The other Universal. But then when Funkoland opened, it was a bigger deal because it was like a big ass store that had the walls full of the games. It was like a different experience. I remember when I got my PS1, I was like, I'm gonna sell my Super Nintendo games and shit, and my Super Nintendo to get this PlayStation 1. And then when I got there, they tried to jerk me, so I was like, nah, I'll come back another day. I think they were trying to give you like $5 or $3 for each game. I had like 20
Universal.
There was a point they gave you the price. Funko. Nah, they were worse.
Universal was scam artists too.
Hell yeah.
My man Steve was good though. My man Steve.
Nah, he was a scammer.
He used to give me the most he gave me was like $20 for a game.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Bro, they was charging, especially around like the holidays. They was charging so much for like certain games and systems and that shit, man. Even I did like Steve. He was cool.
Yo, I remember that the PS1 era was like the first time that you bought used games. I was like, oh shit, I could buy this used for cheaper. I was like, God, people sell games? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did have the cheapest used games though.
He did. No, that's true.
The other way to get games is when you borrow it from a friend and keep it so long they forget about it.
You know what's crazy, bro? Like, since we talking about like the PS1 or like what stands out to you, this is like probably one of the most like iconic gaming moments I think that I've ever experienced was like the opening for Resident Evil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the first time they had like
they looked like humans and cutscenes.
Like cinematic, like cinematic cutscenes. Yeah, like
It was like, yo, Super Nintendo does not look like that. Like, holy
crap.
I
was like, yo, games can't get better looking than this. It's crazy because if you look at that shit now, it's disgusting. But
that was like the first game. That was like the first game you guys had, right? The Resident Evil.
Yeah, Resident Evil. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget whose house
we got it because of that.
I don't know if it was at Harry's or Wilson's or Terrence's.
No, Wilson got it way after us. We took it to Wilson's because Terrence was the first one to get the PS1, and then we got it once I saw Resident Evil. I was like, yo, we have to get this, and we ended up getting it that year.
Yeah, bro, that was like iconic.
I was like, I can't go back to Super Nintendo after seeing that shit.
Nah, you can't. That and I think Final Fantasy VII were like the two.
Final Fantasy,
yes, and Metal Gear 2 also. But I think
there was a lot of games.
Was different, bro. Like that shit was crazy.
The first Metal Gear, I remember there was a demo of that too.
Yeah,
yep.
I was like, holy shit!
Yeah, remember when
Metal
Gear and then
demos too?
Yeah, Siphon Filter was good.
Oh, Carmelo had Siphon
Filter.
One came.
Yeah, that one came after.
Yeah. I think that around that time, actually. I'm gonna be real, bro. If we were to actually really sit down and say what system had the best games or like the most like iconic,
that stretch,
it would probably be
PS1,
the PlayStation 1, because I felt like it was just heat during.
They got the better library, and they got the better games overall. I think even now,
bro, they even had Tomb Raider. They had Tomb Raider. They had Tekken.
Yeah. Many of the franchises started there.
Remember Need for Speed?
Need for Gran Turismo.
Yes.
Bro, like that joint was crazy. Like they actually, you're right. Their library is insane.
Yeah, they had a long run also.
They had the Tekken Fighter. They had Tekken. I remember that.
Yeah, they got it.
They had the Mega Man X4 when that shit came out. I was like, oh shit.
Yes.
It looked nice. Yeah, they had some of the best RPGs with SquareSoft.
Yes.
They had a bunch of hits back then. Whether it was like a Legend of Laguna or something like that. Alondra, Suikoden, something like that. Suikoden.
No, yes, you're right, Harry.
Yeah, they had a lot of good games. You had
Final Fantasy Tactics, all that stuff.
Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal started there.
Oh shit, Twisted Metal. You're right.
I remember I traded
Vigilante. Yep, Vagrant Story.
Yep.
Well,
I traded Vigilante 8 for Final Fantasy. I remember.
For Final Fantasy 7, yeah. Even Final Fantasy 8, even though people didn't like it that much, but I liked 8.
No, 8 is good.
It's solid, bro. It is.
Yeah.
I feel like it was hard for people because they were probably so in love with 7. But 8 on its own, bro, is a really good game.
Yes. If you don't compare it to 7, yes.
Yeah, it is. It's a really good game.
You know, they go like, oh, it's down
it's
because,
a downgrade.
You know,
yeah.
down because of 7. Like, it's actually not.
It's not.
Yeah. You need to stop comparing
Thinking about it.
They're not even related.
Think about it now. PS1 was more of a. I know you could play 2 players, but it was more like a single player console. It had a lot of games like that, like single player. Like not that they didn't have good multiple player ones, but that I kind of give it to Nintendo 64 because they had it another different category. But when it came to games like that to play by yourself, like PlayStation 1, another one is Die Hard Trilogy. It was just like how many hours?
Yes, that one was good.
And all the
games, felt like you was getting 3 games. You're getting 3 games for 1.
Yeah, that's how you sell it to your mom. Mommy, 3 juegos, 3 games in 1.
Yeah. What was it? That Spider-Man game for the PS1 was very good. I don't know if y'all remember that one, the Spider-Man.
Which one?
Look it up. Yeah. It came out like in 99 or 2000. That one was good. And the voice acting was good in that too.
That was kind of like the first 3D of it.
That was at the end of their run, right?
Yeah, and which it was still coming out with bangers like that. Which is
crazy. Remember when we
what year did it come out? 97? No,
99, 2000, around there. It was good. Look it up.
And I was in junior high school, bro. I was in junior high school. Yeah, the PlayStation.
It came out in 95, late 95.
Yeah. I remember being in junior high school when I had that. That's why I was.
It came out before the 64, like a year before the 64. Yeah, the 64 came out 96, and they only had like 2 games, which is crazy.
Yo, but we're not gonna get into the 64 because that's a whole different story. But I remember at that time it was kind of like you either had either or because it was expensive. So it's like you had the people that had 64 swore that it was better than PS1, and people that had PS1 swore that it was better than the 64.
It was like, because 64 don't load and shit like that.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, the thing I hate about Resident Evil was the loading screens, was the doors. Every time the doors it got old, and going up the stairs and down the stairs. But what you was gonna say?
No, what kills me about Resident Evil that, and then like the tank controls, like you got to turn the 360 to go.
But you got
straight,
used
like,
to it though. You get used to it.
Yeah, try to go back and do it now. I know. I'm just saying that was one of the, like I had to do that because I went back not so long ago and played Metal Gear. Remember I was telling you guys?
Yeah,
and I had to get used to it. Shit is annoying. Like you got to turn the whole way around and then
Tomb Raider was like that too. But Tomb Raider, once you saw the Tomb Raider graphics, it's like, oh shit, you controlling this person like that? It's like you see their body, like these big ass environments that you never seen nowhere else back in the day.
Yep, and they had what was pretty cool was like the training ground that they had in Tomb Raider 2 that like, you get to practice
in the mansion, right?
In the mansion, Yep.
Jump in the water like in her pool and stuff. Yeah, that joint was pretty crazy, man.
Yep.
Chad, what was it that you was gonna say?
No, I was gonna say I just felt like the 64 was great for what it was. I felt like in terms of like those wrestling games and playing like all four people at one time, like the 64 was like above and beyond everyone else. But I think you're right, Melo. Like the PlayStation for like linear one-player games, like story-based games, nothing like at that time could touch that.
You put the library with the 64, the top games versus the PS1 top games, and the PlayStation wins.
Yeah, easily, bro. Like they lapped them. They lapped them. That's how good they were at this shit. But honestly, I feel like you could put like those games.
They humbled Nintendo too. They humbled them for what happened. But that merger that it was good.
That's true.
Yeah, that's karma for Nintendo.
Yeah, that's true. But even if you put them against like the PlayStation 1 library against the PlayStation 2 library.
Yeah.
Because, PlayStation 1, Danny, you would probably know this. They had God of War, right? That came out on 1, right?
No, that was 2.
That was 2?
Yeah.
The first one?
Yeah. Devil May Cry.
Okay. Oh, Devil May Cry 2 was fire, too.
Yeah, they had the Tony Hawk game. PS1 had Tony Hawk.
Oh, yes. Pro Skater, yes.
The Tony Mirror.
Yeah, the Dave Mirror.
They have Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot was good.
Medieval,
was like
kind of
like
was
Medieval.
Yeah, Medieval.
Yes. Papo had that.
There was a game. What was that other game that Danny like? Soul Reaper, right?
Was
it?
Yeah, Soul Reaver.
Legacy of Kain.
Yeah, Legacy of Kain. And Blood Omen was on that.
Yeah,
Dino Crisis was good too.
Yeah, Dino Crisis. That was the Resident Evil with dinosaurs.
Yo, PlayStation even had that game that when you get the gun and it's like reload. Is it Area 51? That shit is mad annoying. Yes. Like when you got to reload.
They had the arcade of that. That's what you heard back in the day.
Yeah,
like
reload. Yeah.
But when we got the PlayStation 1, we did not get a memory card, so we started Resident Evil 1 every single time we played it. We played the beginning.
Why didn't you just leave it on?
Nah, people used to do stuff like that.
Yo, my brother-in-law used to do that, bro.
I never done that. That they leave the system on for the next day.
Like leave it on for like 24 hours?
To continue off.
Yeah. Like not turn it off till you beat the game. He did that with Max Payne. Because he didn't have a memory card.
That's so
cool. PS2, I'm just saying. Yeah. That was the first game that had those slow motion.
The original Nintendo games that you can't save, you could do that for. Well, people did that. And then Carmelo mentioned, what was it, WWF Warzone, and then the SmackDown games, which weren't that good, but they were on there.
Oh, I love Warzone.
Yeah. The original Silent Hill.
Yes, the original Silent Hill was on there. Yo, PlayStation had everything.
They did, bro. They had heat, man.
And I think they were the first ones that came out with the classic ones, right? That it just, once it reached a certain amount of sales, they'll bring it back. Yeah, the greatest hits that they'll bring it back, and then it'll be just for like $20. And if you haven't got it before, just get it for $20 and play it.
Yo, I don't know if y'all remember this. It was Parasite Eve. That game was good.
Yeah.
Parasite Eve. That giant.
Yep. Which they need a new one, but they'll never make it.
They really had some fire, man.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy when you think about it.
You know what turns to fire? That's
the subscribe button when you hit it.
Yeah.
It does that little thing, and then you hit
press the button till
the light.
Chad, fire.
Chad, I know you know about Xenogears.
Yep, Xenogears.
I remember I played the demo of that a lot.
Xenogears was fire.
I don't know if you heard about the game. Which one?
That's like you said, Harry. That's like when Square was on
yes. Remember Hinder? It was like a shooter with the plane.
Yes, and Hinder.
Yes.
They only made one. There was a demo of that too, Carmelo, and Hinder. That game was top. Yeah, Hinder. Yeah, yep. It's like a R-Type, a space shooter like that. That was good. Yo, Squaresoft, everything they brought out was,
was fire, bro. Everything.
Like they just fell off. They changed to Square Enix. Yep.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they
had what was it that they had? Chrono Cross on the PS1 because Chrono Trigger was Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yo, Squaresoft, Jesus.
Yeah.
They had everything.
They did. But you're right. Once they went to Square Enix, things changed.
Yeah,
and they was exclusive to PlayStation too, right?
They were. Time, yes. They were at that time, yeah.
Everybody always sell themselves up.
Because they went from remember Super Nintendo had a lot of their Squaresoft games back then, and then they jumped to because Final Fantasy VII was supposed to come out on a Nintendo system. And they're like, we're not doing this bullshit here, and they brought it on the disc one on the PlayStation.
Yeah, they definitely knew what they was doing, bro. They, especially back then with those things.
Capcom, and then what was it, Ridge Racer?
Yeah, I was about to say that, Ridge Racer.
Ridge Racer, yep.
And In the Zone, the NBA game.
In the Zone, yes. Yeah, even a few NBA Lives came out were good at the time.
Were those PlayStation exclusives?
The NBA Live?
Yeah, I feel like they were.
I think maybe because I know the Saturn had one of them.
At least initially, I think they were.
Yep, I think so too. I'm not too sure.
I remember using my PS1 as a CD player too, a lot.
Yes, that was a CD player as well.
Yep.
The PS1, yep.
Oh yeah, see now that I'm mentioning that, it used to come with the CD disc cleaner, like with the CD that had the brush to clean your.
Yes, the lens, right?
Yeah, the lens. Yeah. Is it like you got to spray some of this on the brush and then just let it play and let this song play?
Yeah, I remember the PlayStation memory blocks that they were like little animated blocks of your save files.
Yep.
Sometimes they move.
Yeah, that was cool. If it was Final Fantasy, it would be Claude. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah, each game had its own thing, which was good. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, that was innovative at the time. And nobody's ever done that since. What was that baseball game that they had that people used to play? Nah, but I remember they had a baseball game. It's not MVP baseball, is it? PS1 had?
Yeah, it is MVP baseball.
Was it?
Yep, MVP baseball. Yep, and they had MVP.
That had commentary. I was like, oh shit, it has commentary.
Just like it had the boxing one. What is it called? Fight Night.
Fight Night.
Yeah, it's really good.
What was that boxing game that was arcadey at the time that had Let's Get Ready to Rumble?
Oh, Ready to Rumble. Yeah. Ready to Rumble. Word.
They had Bannerina Toshiden also.
Yes. That fighting game,
and Warhawk.
Warhawk. That came with the demo too. Warhawk.
Yeah. Oh, did it?
Yeah.
They had, depending on when you got it, or they had
there were different demos. Yes.
I was trying to find the one that, that I had, and I was reading. I was like, yeah, I don't remember that. Because I know if I see it, I could be like, yeah, that was the demo I had. Because I remember the Rapper, there was this airplane game. Like if I see it, I'll know. But the ones that I was looking online, I was like, yeah, damn.
Yeah, we have that demo that you're talking about. It's somewhere around here.
Yeah, because we got our PlayStations around the same time. So yeah, you guys might have got the same.
No,
demo
you didn't get the same time as us. You got the same time as Josue.
Nah, hell no.
Okay.
Oh, Swing get his shit till like fucking till PlayStation 3 came out. He was late to the party for everything, bro.
He got Super Nintendo once we moved on already.
Bro, when we would go chill in his house,
from Super Nintendo.
Yeah, when we would go chill in his house with me and Harry, be like, "Yo, who's bringing the PlayStation, bro?" Like,
yo, we had to always bring the system to his house.
Yeah.
I gotta disconnect my shit to take it over there all the time just to play in his house. Like, come over, like, yo, come to my house.
Josue always make it on the podcast, man. For some way, this thing always, he always make it.
His ear must be ringing.
He gonna put y'all in a headlock when he see y'all next time. Y'all better chill.
I mean, I thought you talked a little bit better about him since he saved you so many years. So
yeah, and Smith
was throwing shade at him, bro. I mean,
he
according to him, that's what he says.
Then he used to walk you home from Third Ave.
Yeah, I guess. He saved me in school. Him and Adam. Yeah, they was looking out for me. Yeah.
And Guzman.
And Guzman.
He's like, I owe my health to them, man.
Yeah, seriously, man. Oh, Sway, I still got that Sawzall too, man. Let me know if you want it, man. $2,700 for you, man. All for you,
just for you, my man. He's like, I can give it to anybody for free, but for you, I'm selling
anybody
it to you.
else for free. Yeah, for you, Sway, yeah, 27. Let me know if you still want it.
27 stacks.
Let me know if you want it.
I give you a good price, man.
I'll genuinely, I will probably say PlayStation 1 is probably pound for pound. It's probably library of games. It's probably the best of any console.
Yep.
And then I think after that, it's like Super Nintendo and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they're up there, but it's just PlayStation to me. And Street Fighter Alpha was on there. Capcom also had Heat on there.
And you could put your music CDs on it, and it'll just play the music.
Yeah, like Carmelo said.
And then some of the games had soundtracks on them.
They had great soundtracks.
Yes, they did
too.
Yep.
And some games like Ridge Racer, where once the game boots, you could take it out and pop in a CD, and then the track will play on the track as you're racing.
Mm-hmm. Yo, now that we're talking about that, what was that? You remember I remember I had an orange one that you would put it behind the PlayStation and
the converter.
Burn games. The converter.
It was like a game chart. It was almost like that, so you could play Japanese games too.
Yep.
Or you could do the swap method.
We got that to play the Dragon Ball games. I remember.
Yeah, because it brings like a little spring. It brings like a spring.
Yep. So it's like you trick it to playing like a regular game, and then you swap it with the burned one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yo, that was the era of playing burn CDs. You needed that to play burn CDs unless you had a modded system.
Yeah.
Which you had to pay for that a lot more than that chip.
And then that chip was like $25. I remember it was cheap. It was, the problem was knowing somebody that could burn the games.
Yep.
And it took forever to burn.
That Dragon Ball game was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
That Dragon Ball game was crazy. Like that
game, and it had the intro in it. It had the intro and everything.
And even the fighting in it was crazy, like legit. Like that game was wild, man.
We didn't know the menus, but we just played.
We just played.
It was Japanese.
We didn't know what they were saying or none of that shit.
What was that other game? Dragon Ball GT that we used to play a lot. Final Bout. Yeah, that's the other one.
Yes, yeah.
It was like a 3D fighter, but the one chat's talking about is Legends, I think.
Yeah, where it's like you go through each saga, right? Like you fight.
You can fly in the air. It's like 2D sprites.
Yeah, fly in the air. You could disappear. Like that was crazy.
Yo, what system?
I know the moves. I used to just play.
Marvel vs. Capcom. Was it for PS1 or
was it was on Dreamcast?
It was on Dreamcast, but it was also on PS1.
All right, it was Dreamcast,
but you couldn't switch.
I remember. So Dreamcast came out around the same, like after 64,
came out in 99. Came out in 99.
Yeah, so because I remember, what I'm saying, having all of them around the same time, and there would be games that come out in one. And
it was after the 64 already had come out.
Yeah, that was when we was like, oh, but it looks better on Dreamcast. Should we get it for PS1? That made you start getting PS1 games little by little because they ran better on Dreamcast.
Yeah, I just remember there was a time that all three of them like were relevant that we were playing actively. Like
each one of them had a game for out
like an exclusive
that we were playing. Yeah, like the 64 had the wrestling games. Then the Dreamcast had Power Stone. They had Marvel vs. Capcom. The NBA games, and then the PS1 had the
one-player games at that time. Like the Final Fantasies, like Final Fantasy 9.
It was like it had Silent Hill 2, Tekken 2, and stuff like that.
Yo, you remember Symphony of the Night? That Castlevania game?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That one was good.
So on a closing note, what's your fondest memory of the PlayStation 1, or what's your top game that you've played and can always
That's
go
tough.
back to and look at, like either watch it or play it?
For me, it's always going to be the Final Fantasy games, type games like that. I remember not even. I mean, like if you think about it, like I remember growing up, I didn't like to read much, but then playing games like that, like you had to read, and it's like not read to read. It's like you had to fucking like read it and understand it. Be like, oh, you got to go over here. If you weren't paying attention, then you'd be asked out. It was like, where do I have to go? So you had to pay attention.
Understand
That's
the
when I.
story too. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
plus
Like,
Yep, the
Yeah.
to know
story,
what's
'cause
going
you
on.
have to
Yeah,
read it because
yeah,
you got to know the story. That's the thing.
yeah,
Yep.
It's almost
Yep.
like
So
Zelda still now.
that's true.
yeah, because he doesn't talk. He
Yeah, he
doesn't
don't
Yeah,
talk
talk.
on Nintendo
yeah,
games. Yeah,
agree.
Yeah, Zelda. Link doesn't talk at all. He just
nope.
makes noises and shit. You're right.
Yeah,
Grunts and shit. Like, yeah.
You're right. I didn't even think of that. You're right. Yeah. So I would say Final Fantasy is like my, because I've played it not so long ago, and it was like, yo, this is just how I remember it. Like, sometimes when you go to an old game and it's like, yo, this shit is trash. But Final
Yeah, like
Fantasy
damn,
is
what
one
the
of
fuck
those
was I
games. Yeah.
thinking? Yo,
Even the
the Final
remake.
Fantasy, yeah, is the music, the visuals, everything. Even if it looks like the way it looks back then, it brings you back to that time.
yeah,
Yeah.
You was playing it.
Yeah, because I was trying to play the remake and it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't hit the same. It's just like, yeah.
Yep.
for me, I don't know if I'm the only one, but I know I like 7, but I like 8 better.
Yeah. I mean, it's good.
yeah,
And like it had the beginning start, it had the characters, and then I played it and I beat it, but I kind of beat it the hard way because I didn't have no strategy first. So I just went through. If I happened to upgrade the sword, is because I found it or something. I didn't have the best
The
sword at the
Gunblade.
end, and then it,
The
it took it
Gunblade.
took a while for me to beat the last boss, because by the time I got there, I had nothing really powerful to do it. So I had to keep having one person always heal while the other ones would attack.
Yeah. You got to grind.
Yeah.
That's when RPGs feel like action games.
yeah,
Yep.
Like everybody moves and hack and slashing.
Yeah. Yep. That's what the new one is. That's why they really like the other one.
It's
The
not
the
like
remake.
turn based.
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, even Pokemon was turn based before, right? Now is everything is open world and
Yes,
everything.
it was turn based. Now it's like
Yeah,
you know,
and if you're not watching the other person, they could be in the other side, and you over here fighting, and if you're not watching them, they kill them, and it's just like, damn, like you got to keep swapping
yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Wow.
Harry, how about you?
I remember the memories are getting it, having friends over, playing for hours, passing the controller, borrowing games. My friends get a game like that I can't get because times was hard. So then I gotta try to make them let me hold it for at least a day.
Yeah, we
Like
was
just one
only able
day.
to get the one game, and like, damn, but I wanted this one also, but they got it.
Yeah. So
Yep.
now
So,
you
and
gotta
they want to
trade.
play this one because they didn't get this one because they got that one.
Now you
So now
gotta
you gotta
swap.
lend them. Now you gotta lend them 5 games
Yeah.
for that one
Yeah.
game you beasting to play.
That was the time of EGM, reading the magazines of like, yo, this game's coming like in 4 months, beast, and looking at the little screenshots, the little articles, and like
Yeah.
the release date. It didn't tell you what day it comes out. It just says, oh, release August. So you gotta always
Yeah.
Yeah,
check in the stores when it's gonna come out. And then when you see it, that's when it came out. You just don't know the release date.
and then you ran the risk of the game not being good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, they had a lot of bad games too.
Yeah,
Let me get that out of the way. They had a lot of bad ones too.
yeah.
PS1, their library is crazy big too. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yo, I
So you're
remember
gonna
I
have a
bought this
few
game.
bad ones.
I bought the soccer game, VR soccer for PS1. And yo, not even 2 hours later, I went to Universal to try to sell it back. My man was like trying to rip me off, and I was like, "Damn, I'm gonna have to keep this shit now, man." Like,
Now it's yours.
yeah, because you pay $50 or whatever, then you go back and they're trying to give you like 20, and then they're gonna sell it for
Mhm.
45, like $5 cheaper than it is brand new.
Facts.
Yeah.
You know?
So as for my favorite game, I will have to say maybe Final Fantasy 7 and maybe Tomb Raider, Metal Gear. Because Final Fantasy, you know how that they got the timer counter for the time? Yo, my shit said 9999, all of it, because I just played it to perfect that game. I remember what was it, when you grind to farm to level up, you had to do that. And then I beat the Emerald Weapon and Ruby Weapon. They were like these two bosses that they had nothing to do with the storyline. But one of them was in the ocean and the other one was in a desert, and they will slap the shit out of you and kill you quick if you don't franchise.
And then you had to look for them. It's not like you knew where they were because you had to fly. Yes. I was playing it the last time. You had to kind of like bump into them because they'd be flying around and they would type fast. Yep.
Yo, I got to one inside the water early in the game, and he just fucked me up with like one hit. Like, oh shit, I'm not ready for this guy. And there's like a timer. You have to beat him in a certain amount of time. Yep. Yo, when I beat him, I felt like that shit was an achievement. That's when you feel good, and you get no achievements back then. You feel good about like, oh shit, I did this. There's not many people that could do it. Yo, that was an achievement for me.
It's like early on in the game in Final Fantasy VII where you passing by that swamp and then you got that big ass snake that you try not to run into because if you run into it, he kills you.
You touch him by mistake.
Yeah.
I hated that. Then when you fight like every 5 steps, you fight. I'm like, oh. It's like yo, I can afford to fight again. The golden chocobo, whatever that goes on water. He runs on the water. That's the last one where you get Knights of the Round Table or whatever. That last summon that you got to sit like 10 minutes to watch that summon.
Yeah, you remember that?
That whole thing happened.
Yeah, that whole thing. Every single time I used it.
That shit was epic though.
The thing was fighting. Was it Ruby Red that it automatically kills 3 of your characters, and if it kills the one that you want to face it, because that's the one that you have beefed up.
He chooses a random one. If he chooses your main one, you might as well just reset the game. It's Ruby Heart. I think it's Ruby Heart the name. Yeah, he was hard because of that.
Yeah, shit is a 1-on-1.
Yep. He had the Omni Slash Cloud. Oh man, yeah.
The Knights of the Round Table. The ultimate.
Yeah, that's the one that takes like 10 minutes. And Bahamut. Bahamut.
Yeah, and PS1 was the era of the strategy guys that
the strategy guys.
Strategy guys, like if you wanted to get everything. Yeah, sure.
They wanted to perfect
Final Fantasy had the big one,
with the poster.
Yo, and sometimes you had to buy it because it's just like you literally did not know where to go.
Yeah, because they didn't tell you. They show you no arrows. They show you no arrows where to go. Now you press it, and it shows you the arrow where to go and how far is it. The distance.
If you didn't get the book, you had to search every inch of that stage.
He's like, yo, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. Well, you better suck it up and keep trying.
Yo, I remember writing notes before I turned my shit off. Like I used to write, you got to go such and such place, and you know what I mean, so that I wouldn't forget.
Yeah. Yes. How about you, Chad?
Nah, dude, I already said it. I would say that
was it. Memories were played.
My fondest memory was that Resident Evil opening scene. I would say
that changed your life. Like that changed my life at the time.
I really did though, bro. Like, because I was like, yo, I can't believe how real this game looks. And like I said, you look at it now, it does not look real at all. But yeah, back then I was like, yo, it can't get better than this.
You got scared when the dolls jumped out the window, though.
Yeah.
They had a lot of scenes like that.
That was like probably one of the first real horror games too.
Yeah, actually, it was kind of like, it made me think like, yo, this is a little scary.
Yeah, I remember. I was younger back then. Yup, I'd be like, yo, I ain't playing this shit at night.
Yeah, like playing that shit in the dark. Yeah, so. But similar to y'all, like probably one of the top games was Final Fantasy VII because of the storyline, the soundtrack. Yeah, I would say Final Fantasy VII.
That's the one that had the material.
You know something? Now that Danny mentioned it, I think 8 was better because you had they refined a lot, like the material and all of that. Like you could stack it, but it's just
the characters looked full too. The characters, you know how they were blocky in 7.
Yep, but I just think since 7 was the first one that really like made a big splash, I think that's why everybody remembers it as being.
No, that's not why. 7 was just better. That's why.
I like 8. 9 is not that bad neither.
So it had more. 7 has more memorable characters.
Yeah,
that's true.
There was nothing like it at the time. That's why, man.
No, and that soundtrack, man. You know him jumping off that train in the beginning, man.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, man. Shit was crazy. And you're right though. I do agree with the
Sephiroth theme. Everybody had a theme. Sephiroth had a theme. Yeah, because when he came out from the fire, when he turned around.
And no lie, bro. Last year I went to orchestra, and bro, they still playing that's Final Fantasy VII music in them shits. Like people go, and you got to see these geeks and nerds in this shit, literally going crazy.
Well, you're there with them, so what does that make you?
I was. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't dressed up like Cloud though.
Yeah, people be wildin', son.
Somebody had a fake gun like Barrett. I said, this shit is crazy.
Nah, man. They be wildin', bro.
Is it Barrett?
Yo, bro, when we going to the mall, they got this one store where they be doing that. I think it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Because now they got games for everything. They be dressing up, coming in capes and shit, and
yeah, man,
calling each other my lord. They be like, "Yo, these
it's my lord."
Yeah,
yes, my lord.
Yeah.
So, for me to finish it off, I say when I first seen, just like Chad said, when I first seen the Resident Evil, I needed that game. I wanted to play it. I didn't want to see nobody playing it. I want to play it myself. The other was Ridge Racer. It's just a lot to go through.
They used to love Gran Turismo a lot.
Yeah, Gran Turismo.
Remember, you had to get your license back then.
You did. You really did.
That was hard to do too.
I did used to hate that you spin off of it. Like me driving, and then even if I drive on dirt, like I'm not spinning. Like, why the fuck are you spinning? Like that's not real. Like when I was playing that, I was like, that's not real. Like shouldn't I be able to control it better than that? But that's the only downside it really had.
Before I cut you off, I need to mention, y'all remember that part in Metal Gear that you could start the game and then go to the end boss right away? That trick with the box? Yeah. I don't know if y'all remember that you could go right to the end.
I don't remember.
And then it takes you to the, or you could it could take you to the second disc, or you could take you to the boss.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Trick in the beginning. I don't remember that.
Yes.
I don't remember.
You start the game and there's a trick. Once you do that little underwater thing, yes.
You know how when you start the game, you come out the water and then you're trying to get to the elevator. Once you get to the elevator takes you upstairs to where there's you get your box, and then there's a truck that you can sit in the back with your box. But it looks like it's not really there, but you can interact with it. You could get on top or whatever to hide, and like you can lay down in the back. But if you lay down and put in the box, they're gonna come and drive the car out, and then they take you automatically to it.
Yep.
Oh, so when you get off, it's either you get off on the second disc or you get off right on the boss type.
Yeah, to beat it.
And then that guy you had to the guy that you had to switch the controller to the second port because he had the first one.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was Psycho Mantis.
Yeah.
Psycho Mantis, yeah.
It was Deep Throat.
Nah, it wasn't Deep Throat. It was Psycho Mantis.
I know.
You was Deep Throat, Harry, right? That's what they used to call you on the block, I thought.
But Metal Gear was so like groundbreaking also that
guys used to knock on the wall so they could go to the corner and chase you.
What was that? Yeah. What was that?
Yo, that sound effect is still being used today.
So when you choked him.
Yeah, when you were choked him. Yeah.
Yo, that sound effects, you know the whole purpose of that game is to do it without killing anybody, to do it stealth.
Yeah.
Part 2, you could put them in the closets.
Yeah, but I think that was one of the major boosters in games and game developers and everything trying to be the next hit.
That's when companies weren't scared to try something.
See, there's a question I wanted to ask you. Now you bring up Resident Evil, so obviously you guys are brothers. So how you see? I'm the type that I don't like watching people play. I don't know how people did it at Wilson's house. They just sit there and watch them playing for hours. How you guys did it with like a game with like Resident Evil? Like
I didn't watch him play, and he didn't watch me play.
All right, so you guys had your own separate file, like memory card.
Yeah.
All right.
But before the memory card, I told you we still always started, which was crazy.
Taking turns. We just restarted again from the beginning.
I mean, Yeah, because like I'm telling you, I don't know how people did that. Like he'd have like 15 people just sit there watching.
Yeah,
him play.
we'll be like, yo, I got to this part today. Did you get there yet? Or something like, not to give it away, but like something that won't really give it away. Like how far you got this time compared before we got the memory card.
I was like,
going.
oh, Danny's saving it. You hear the typewriter.
Yeah, you got to find the ribbon.
Fake ribbon, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When we got the memory card with the saving, yeah, like the first line was either him or me, and then the second one was either him or me, and then you could see the timestamps and different. We would name it. Run. We would name it our names so that we know.
You got to run and get your gun out the freezer or a potion out the freezer.
Get the herbs.
Yeah,
get the weed going. Get the weed going.
The little herb.
And you got to mix it up. You got to combine them.
Oh, with the spray, they had the spray, the first aid spray or whatever.
That's the synthetic spray.
Yeah. So thank you for listening. Let us know if you want us to do part 2 to this episode and maybe go into more of the games, or if you rather us move on to PlayStation 2. We can talk about that and how that
any other system.
Yeah, but the PlayStation 2 also kind of changed the game when they put the DVD drive.
They did it again.
Yes. Yeah, they did.
And it was either you wanted it for just watching movies or you wanted it for the games and movies. But we'll get to it.
Subscribe.
Peace out. All right. That's going to wrap up episode 26. Thanks for taking the trip down memory lane with us. Big shout outs to all the latest subs. We appreciate you. And if you're not subbed yet, hit the sub button. It really helps us out. Don't forget to like and drop a comment of your favorite PS1 memories. Next episode, we're jumping into WWE. The ups, the downs, and the downfall. You won't want to miss that one. Catch you on the next one.